G'day, battlers, and today we're going to be taking a look at DancingRob's winning run through the Opera GX Cup that was held this weekend just gone, where he was able to take home the lion's share of the $1,000 prize pool, which was absolutely huge because there were so many good battles in this tournament. It was absolutely stacked. But speaking of good battlers, DancingRob is a pretty good battler himself. Number 7 on the world on the Silph Arena rankings, and number 3 in Germany. Will be competing in the World Championships in 2 weeks' time, so definitely has some stock in himself as well. But before we jump into the battles, I do want to kind of give an announcement for another Opera GX Cup that is coming in a few weeks' time. So if you want to skip straight to the battles, the timestamps are all going to be in the progress bar down below, so you can skip straight to that. But first of all, this announcement about the next Opera GX Cup, which is going on September 26th, 1 PM EST. It's the same deal. It's Open Great League, no legendaries or mythicals, $1,000 prize pool, open to the entire world. Everyone can get involved. I'll leave all of the relevant links in the description down below. You do have to download the Opera GX browser through their link to be able to be eligible for the prize pool. So I'll leave the entire description about that tournament in the video description as well, so you can just read that, get the entire gist of it, and then read the full rules on that website as well. But enough of that. Let's jump into the battles. Jump into round 1 for DancingRob. Ta-da! Now, even though DancingRob went 8-0 in this tournament, which again is absolutely huge because there were so many big names here, unfortunately he didn't record most of the tournament, so we are going to be jumping into round 5 here up against AragornIsMyKing, and then we're going to be seeing the full semi-finals and the grand final. So we're going to see like the big cojones of this tournament. Don't worry about that. We're going to see some very good battles. Plus, it was single elimination, which means that they had to fight through to round 5 to get up at this stage, which means every battle from here on out is going to be like really good and doing really well. Now, we've got the teams on the right hand side here. We've got DancingRob's team that he ran through the whole tournament with Venusaur, Swampert, Metachamp, Jellicent, Galarian, Stunfisk, and Alolan Ninetales. And on AragornIsMyKing side, who is another content creator, link to his Twitch in the description below. He's got Galarian, Stunfisk, Umbreon, Azumarill, Abomasnow, Alolan Marowak, and Pelipper. And the thing I really like about these teams is that we're seeing 11 unique Pokemon, which in an Open Great League tournament there's a lot of overlap, and I think in the semis and the grand finals we are going to see some overlap in the teams as well, but it's really nice to see some real uniqueness sort of going on. Obviously, we're seeing a lot of GBL picks. There's more than 6, there's at least 11 good Pokemon in Go Battle League, and these are definitely 11 of them. So it's just nice to see some uniqueness. So with that said, let's jump into the battles here. Okay, I left a little bit too long on the video at the start, but we're now jumping into it with the Metachamp up against the Azumarill, which is not a great matchup for Rob, and I'm kind of expecting a swap out here. May potentially go for the Psychic, because Psychic does do a fair amount of damage to that Azumarill, but we're actually seeing the attempted catch of the player off, but unfortunately just didn't happen, which is really unfortunate for DancingRob, and now decides to call the Hydro Pump successfully. Really nice call, but this is not a great spot for Rob because now he's at a shield disadvantage. These Earthquakes are going to do a bit of damage. 2 Earthquakes would take out this Azumarill, so it's just a matter of landing them, going straight for the nuke straight away, and does actually land it, which is a nice start, but still has to land another one to take this Azu out, and has to be scared of a Hydro Pump, so decides to shield up, really hoping that he's calling correctly here, and does call the Hydro Pump correctly. That is a really nice start. Now, the question is, are they going to go for a Rock Slide bait? No, going straight for the nuke. These guys are just trading nukes back and forth, just going for the biggest damage they possibly can. If this Azu doesn't shield, which it doesn't, that will take it out, and we're going to see something else come in the back. But now Aragorn has the 2-0 shield advantage, which is not a good spot for DancingRob to be in. We'll see what he's got in the back. Actually bringing in Abomasnow, which is a pretty interesting pick, because usually Abomasnow would not be a good Pokemon to bring into a G-Fist, because these Rock Slides are going to hurt. But because they've got the 2-0 shield advantage, it's actually okay. And I didn't actually notice that it was a Shadow Abomasnow as well. This is going to, I don't think it's going to be able to take out G-Fisk here. Barely hanging on. And then we're seeing this swap out to Jellicent, keeping that energy in the back. We're definitely going to see that come out later on. And interesting moveset on the Jellicent. We're running the Ice Beam, Shadow Ball. No Bubble Beam baits here. I'm going to really get hurt by this Energy Ball. Oh my god. Barely hanging on. Is going to be able to get a charge move off. We'll see. I'm kind of assuming they're going to let Abomasnow go down and bring in whatever they've got in the back to farm down. I'm not sure what they have with Abomasnow. Bringing the Pelipper. Okay. Pelipper is a scary Pokemon, especially at the 2-0 shield advantage. Especially when DancingRob has a Metachamp who's going to be really weak to Hurricane and a tiny bit of a G-Fisk. This is really such an uphill battle. Going for the Psychic, hoping that AragornIsMyKing lets it go through, thinking it's an Ice Punch bait or a Parrot Punch bait. We haven't seen Ice Punch, but lets it go through. Oh my gosh, and get the debuff. Are you serious? Are you serious? The 10% debuff chance comes through. That actually may be enough to swing the tide for DancingRob here. Gets that first shield with the first Ice Punch. These counters are doing so much damage. Now that defense debuff has come through, this is absolutely huge. Hurricane presumably coming through here. Oh, no, going for the water weather ball, trying to get more energy in case of the Stunfisk coming in. Throws the weather ball and catches onto the Stunfisk. Oh my gosh, DancingRob pulling out every possible stop to make this as good as possible. Brings in the Metacham, counters down with the tiniest amount of health left. That is absolutely insane. Holy heck. Wow. I'm remarkably impressed, and that is the caliber of the battles that we are seeing in this tournament. And that was round 5. Like, AragornIsMyKing played absolutely fine, you know, got the Hydro Pumps through, got himself in a 2-0 shield advantage situation. Such a good spot up against that Metacham with that little bit of Stunfisk in the back. And DancingRob was just able to maneuver his way out of it. Get that defense debuff on the Psychic, which is just mind-blowing. Like, just really incredible job from DancingRob here, and that does mean that we are now going to be jumping into the semi-finals up against DaiLapCheurng. So at this point, there was prize pool payout to the first, second, and third. I think it was 600 to first, 250 to second, and 150 to third. And there is a tiebreaker between third and fourth. So because these are the semis, whoever loses this battle will then go to another matchup where they fight out for third and fourth. And because we know that DancingRob is the winner here, DaiLapCheurng, I can say, actually went on to place in third. So we're seeing DancingRob go against third and then second. So playing both of the other players who did go home with the cash money. So I'll swap the teams over. Apologies. We've got DaiLapCheurng's team here with the Venusaur, Skarmory, Metacham, Jellicent, Galarian Stunfisk, and Mandibuzz. So we are seeing that we're seeing the same core of 4, except DaiLapCheurng's gone for the double fly with Skarmory and Mandibuzz, whereas DancingRob is running that Swampert and Ninetales. Now, we didn't see these in those two in the last battle, but let's jump into this one here. Kind of interested to see what's going to come in here. I feel like a Jellicent has a pretty good matchup up against DaiLap's team, especially with that Ice Beam Shadowball moveset, and we are actually seeing the Jellicent lead up against the Alolan Ninetales, and it is a Powder Snow Alolan Ninetales, so not as good as a Charm Ninetales would be for the Venusaur in the back, and actually not that great for the Mandibuzz either. So I think DancingRob was pretty happy to get the Jellicent on this Alolan Ninetales matchup, going straight for the Shadow Ball, which does unfortunately get shielded, but we'll see how the rest of this battle does end up going. Shielding up the first charge move here, hoping it's like a Psyshock or a Dazzling Gleam. It does look like it may have been a Dazzling Gleam there. That wasn't a Weather Ball. It is a little bit unfortunate that it isn't in English, because I should become more multilingual ideally, but we are going to see another Shadow Ball going through. DancingRob really is trying to get the hurt onto this Ninetales, does get it through that time, and we're seeing this swap out into an opposing Jellicent. So this is actually okay because DancingRob had the energy advantage. This Shadow Ball is going to be even more threatening to Jellicent than it was to the Alolan Ninetales. So really forcing that last shield out of DaiLap there. And at this point, they could have stayed in, burned a shield, and then forced another Shadow Ball through, but deciding to swap into Mandibuzz, knowing that it was a better matchup, needed to keep that Jellicent for later on, and unfortunately getting Bubble Beamed, but at least it does not call it. The only like dangerous move here for Mandibuzz is an Ice Beam, and because that Jellicent has shown that it's got Bubble Beam, it's unlikely to have Ice Beam. Most Jellicents don't run Bubble Beam Ice Beam. They're either Bubble Beam Shadow Ball or Ice Beam Shadow Ball, so really nice just recognition that it's probably safe for the Mandibuzz here, going for these foul plays that are going to slowly add up. The Bubble Beam debuffs are definitely adding up as well, but catching the foul play onto, I didn't see what Pokemon that was in the back there that came in. Catching it onto the Ninetales, that's actually, oh my gosh. 1, catching it. 2, getting the charge move off just before going down, 1 HP in a Dream, doing a nice chunk of damage there, and we're seeing Jellicent come in to get 1 quick move off farm. Really nicely played there. Jellicent might come in, or we're not sure what is in the back either. Because we've got a little bit of energy, Jellicent wouldn't be very scary either. We're actually seeing the Venusaur in the back though, so DancingRob going to be showing the Ice Beam here, going to do a ton of damage to that Venusaur, and boy, that is really rough for DaiLapCheurng. Now going, heck, this is not as good of a matchup as I thought it might be. Venusaur does get the full farm down though, but at this point I feel like Mandibuzz is going to come in, soak up the energy from that Venusaur. Actually, I'm going to bring in the Venusaur. Okay, recognizing that no matter what charge move this is, Venusaur is going to be able to tank it, try and farm down this Venusaur completely, and then throw a Frenzy Plant, take out the Jellicent in the back. Unfortunately, that is a little bit rough. The Venusaur barely got another charge move, really close. Tough there, but Mandibuzz should still be able to close this out. I think should be able to shield. Oh, actually, they've got Bubble Beam Shadow Balls. This is presumably just a Bubble Beam, so actually calling that on DancingRob's side, going, you can't hurt me here. You have no power here. And then yeah, another Bubble Beam, gonna be able to tank it, throw 1 charge move, take out the Mandibuzz. Oh, going for the Shadow Ball. That is really hurtful. I think this should still take out the Jellicent, and then there is that little bit of health on the Venusaur in the back. It could be really close here. It does have a shield as well, so it has to go for the Vine Whip down, and Mandivar's barely taking it out. Really, really close there for DancingRob. DaiLapCheurng almost had him. But we're going to the next game with MetaCham up against Jellicent, which is not a good spot at all. So swapping into the Galarian Stunfisk. Again, we know that this is a Bubble Beam Shadow Ball moveset, which is not like great for Stunfisk. The Bubble Beams definitely add up, and we've seen a lot of farm on DaiLap's side, going straight for the Shadow Ball, which does do a fair amount of damage to this Stunfisk. And in turn, as we saw DancingRob do in the last round, we're seeing just throw the nukes. Earthquake does get the shield out of DancingRob there, and then should be able to get to another Earthquake here before another charge move comes through. It looks like DaiLap might be going for the Shadow Ball, and maybe just storing up a ton of energy to use later on in the battle. That Earthquake not going to take out Jellicent by any means, and then I'm feeling like this might be a Shadow Ball. DancingRob is going to call it though. Call the Bubble Beam. And unfortunately, yeah, is going to get taken out there. But at this point, should be able to farm down with Venusaur. Will get Bubble Beamed on the way. But you're kind of hoping that that MetaCham has some good matchups in the back. Because, again, there's a double flyer on the other side, which could be a little bit scary. So shielding up the Shadow Ball there, really nice call. And then we're seeing the Alolan Ninetales come in, which is not terrible because Venusaur has this energy advantage. If it was like just lead to lead, the Powder Snow variant is really scary for the Venusaur, but because it's got so much energy, gets that first shield with the Frenzy Plant, really nicely done. Shield up the Ice Weather Ball. And then could go either way, could go in for the kill with the Sludge Bomb that is going to be happening here. I'm not sure if that was an over tap or if they were going for the farm there. It looked like they tapped that one quick move earlier, but either way, this Ninetales is going to be going down here. We've still got that Jellicent that is unlikely to come out with nothing to really throw up against this Venusaur. And we've got these Stunfisk coming in the back, and DancingRob here is going, all right, I've got MetaCham in the back. Jellicent isn't too healthy. MetaCham, really good matchup up against Stunfisk. Needs to land multiple Earthquakes to take it out. Gets that first Frenzy Plant off as well, which just weakens this thing down. MetaCham at this point would have been able to farm all the way down. Got hit by an Earthquake, all good. But Jellicent comes in here before DancingRob can get too much energy going on. Throws the Ice Punch, not gonna... Oh no, it does definitely take out that Jellicent. And yeah, this is GG's for DaiLapCheurng. DancingRob taking out the semi-finals up against a really incredible battler. I think DaiLapCheurng came 4th in the previous Nexus League tournament as well. So this time did end up getting to third in the tiebreaker 3rd and 4th, but that doesn't mean because this was because it was like single elimination, you only needed to play because it was a Turo, they didn't need to do the 3rd. But we are now going into the grand finals up against Chumpoletta, who is running Galarian Stunfisk, Azumarill, MetaCham, Abomasnow, Jellicent, and Alolan Muk. So I think we're actually seeing a lot of similarity. Alolan Muk is the only kind of new pick that we are seeing for the first time. And I do somewhat like Alolan Muk up against DancingRob, depending on the moveset. Swampert is a little bit scary, Stunfisk a little bit scary, MetaCham a little bit scary. Maybe it's not as great of a pick as I thought it might have been, but I'll hit play here because we do get to see Chumpoletta jamming out with that still kind of wacky Go Fest pose that I mean, I'm still wearing it. So we've got the Venusaur vs Jellicent in the lead here, which is a fantastic lead for DancingRob. Instant swap it into Stunfisk, and we're seeing the MetaCham come in. This is just, DancingRob had hard counter after hard counter. This is looking really rough for Chumpoletta here. Has to get out at some point, and going for the Ice Punches as well. These are not going to do much damage, and unlikely to get any of Chumpoletta's shields, because Chumpoletta knows this is a losing matchup. We'll be able to at least get this one Earthquake off with, but we'll do a fair amount of damage to this MetaCham. Does bring it down below half health, but at this point won't be able to get another Earthquake. Oh, actually, I'm not too sure here, but this Ice Punch would be able to take out this Stunfisk, assuming they let it go through, which they do, and then going to bring that Jellicent back out to get a little bit more farm. MetaCham is not obviously not great up against that Jellicent, not going to do too much here. We know that they've got that Venusaur in the back, so it's a bit of a question about whether Chumpoletta might have Ice Beam on that Jellicent, because if they do, they may be able to threaten the Venusaur a little bit, but we are going to see the first charge move come here. They got a little bit too scared that MetaCham is going to take it out with a Psychic, and it looks like that is a Bubble Beam there. Does going to take it out, and does sort of again suggest that they may not have that Ice Beam. We're seeing the double instant swap, and knowing that the Venusaur was going to come out, knowing that Chumpoletta was going to swap, so DancingRob bringing in the Galarian Stunfisk up against the Abomasnow, and again, because we are not in the 2-0 shield disadvantage as we were earlier, this is a much better spot for Stunfisk, getting that first Rock Slide off as well, and again, this has just been a hard counter city. DancingRob really just RPSing Chumpoletta to heck in this grand final. Energy Ball does come through there, but not going to do too much damage. I'm not sure if I've just got it noticed from the admins. They are allowed to use shields here, so there is finally one shield being used, and I'm kind of expecting Stunfisk to use a shield here. We'll be able to then get to the rock slide, unless there's a sort of bait situation going on. Yeah, I'm not sure what charge move that was. I should probably work a little bit harder to figure it out. Or maybe I should have Googled it before. But we're going to see the rock slide come through. If DancingRob does take this battle out, he does take the entire thing, maybe trying to catch a rock slide onto the Jellicent there, but unfortunately unsuccessful. Venusaur coming in here, going to be eating this Shadow Ball, which is absolutely fine. Still has a shield as well. At this point, we'll be able to throw this Frenzy Plant or farm all the way down. Looks like they're going for the full farm down, throw the Sludge Bomb onto a Abomasnow, and with that, DancingRob will be taking out Chumpoletta in this first battle of the grand finals. Really RPS, so Chumpoletta going to try and maybe use some more neutral Pokemon like Alolan Muck to try and work it out a little bit better. This is a much more even lead for Chumpoletta in game 2. Medicham v Medicham. I'll see what movesets they do have. Psychic is definitely a nice move to have. But if they've got some sort of Power Up Punch, like maybe if they've got Power Up Punch Psychic, it could definitely do a bit more damage to this DancingRob. Looks like they have gone straight for the Psychic and landed it, which is pretty rough. But no defense debuffs this time, I don't think. But let's see here. Psychic going to go through. Does get the shield from Chumpoletta, so that puts Chumpoletta in a pretty nice spot, just because they did successfully shield the right move, and because they've got this, looks like they've got CMP. DancingRob going to let their Medicham go down, does decide to take this switch advantage for the shield advantage, and we're going to see Medicham swap out there into a Alolan Muck. Now, that's a little bit rough for Chumpoletta, because it does mean that this Stunfisk is able to come in and really hard counter it. I'm kind of wondering, maybe they didn't have Ice Punch, maybe they did in fact have like some sort of Power Up Punch Psychic, but even a Psychic would have been pretty nice, but I guess with a shield disadvantage, that Medicham definitely might have been taken out. So I think Chumpoletta wanted to save that Medicham for the Stunfisk that they suspected to be in the back, so this might have been a move to draw that Stunfisk out, sacrifice Alolan Muck, bring in the Medicham, and we'll be able to take out this Galarian Stunfisk. DancingRob not going to burn any shields here. Looks like that was that was a Power Up Punch, so we're seeing the counters do a little bit more damage now. He's gonna get an Earthquake off, and because Medicham is already weakened, this actually may ooh, not quite taking it out, and actually seeing Stunfisk sitting there. I'm not sure if that was lag, or if it was actually, I think it's probably intentional. I think DancingRob wants to get a little bit of farm on their Venusaur in the back. And unfortunately, they are going to swap straight out. We've got this Abomasnow matchup again. And at this point, Venusaur has so much energy, has the 2-to-1 shield advantage. This Sludge Bomb is presumably going to burn that first shield out of Chumpoletta. And then, ooh, lets it go through, called the Frenzy and called it wrong. That is so unfortunate for Chumpoletta here. This Venusaur is almost down for the count now. So really has to burn the shield and has to throw this energy right now. Get this thing out of here. Maybe going for the Frenzy Plant. Actually knowing, oh, that is such, wow, that is... Okay, no, DancingRob just doing such high-class calls because they knew that the Venusaur was on barely a single bit of health. If one single extra attack came through, that Venusaur would be going down. So by going for the full fast move farm down, they didn't go for any charge moves. They didn't give the opponent any extra turns that they can be getting attacks through. Just really high caliber identification of the win condition. Knowing that, okay, I'm not going to win if I throw this Frenzy Plant. I know that if I had a bit more health, I would be able to burn the shield here, take this thing out, take out the Medicham in the back, but recognizing that the only way to win, the only way, even after getting the Sludge Bomb landing onto the Abomasnow, the only way to win was for the full farm down. So it actually may be a case that if Chumpoletta burned the shield, it may have played it a little bit differently. They would have had to go for another Sludge Bomb. I feel like it actually may have been a loss for DancingRob there, but at the end of the day, DancingRob able to take it out, able to just do an incredible job. Like, I know we only saw 5 battles from DancingRob here, but they were such high class 5 battles, and I'm really looking forward to DancingRob in future Nexus League tournaments. Again, we've got that next Opera GX Cup coming soon. Oops, a little bit early, not quite yet. Old end screen. Yeah, just really well done. I'm really looking forward to DancingRob fighting out in the Silver Arena World Championships next weekend. I think it's next week, September 1st now. Yeah, it starts up next week, I believe. So, yeah, next week. So really looking forward to that. Just best of luck to DancingRob, and just thank you to OperaGX for running this tournament. Thanks to Antimatter Gaming for running this tournament. I know they had 2 guys running the tournament on the back end on a new platform, Challenger mode, which you weren't really players were very new to, and there were some growing pains. But I think Challenger mode is going to potentially make a few changes on the back end that will make the next one even better. But again, sign up to that next OperaGX Cup. I'll get the little boop. Oh, that's the wrong one. Wrong boop. Boop. There we go. So yeah, do sign up to that. It is September 26th, 1 PM EST, $1,000 prize pool, open to the entire world, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. But with that said, Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, especially that subscribe one. Thank you to my patrons and supporters over on Twitch. There are things all over the screen, but I am just going to leave it. But yeah, if you do want to see some more high caliber battles, I will be hosting the World Championships for the Silver Arena next weekend. So stay tuned for all of the announcements about that. Follow me on Twitter for more updates. And yeah, check out the Continentals as well. And I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys!